Football megastar
Lionel Messi
has tonight signed for Paris Saint-Germain.
This was supposed to be the greatest team football had ever seen.
Are looking to capitalise on uncertainty surrounding the star's future at the Nou Camp.
Billions of pounds spent with one goal in mind.
Paris Saint-Germain apparently are the favourites statistically to win the Champions League.
But you all know how this story goes.
Absolutely no chance of winning the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain. Absolutely no chance.
How did the world's greatest super team become football's biggest failure? The year PSG transformed from your standard football club to a football empire. Before the takeover, you'd have to go all the way back to 1994 for PSG to win a league title. Now, PSG can afford players that they've only dreamt of. It was time for a little shopping spree. Coming in, with all their new shiny toys, PSG were untouchable.
Hadn't have won the league this season, it'd be absolutely ludicrous. I've got an all-star cast, of course they've won the league.
But Messi only had one real goal. But in Europe, they were falling short every single time.
Extraordinary powers of Lionel Messi. He's clearly not fit, but he's come on and given the impetus to Barcelona to turn this around and take a place in the semi-finals away from Paris Saint-Germain.
And he got his shot away, blocked by Alex, follow up by Aston Equator. Oh! It's in! Get in! Demba Ba, the hero for Chelsea! Suarez. Oh, he's gone all the way through. He went past them as if they were not there.
Into the box again for Coutinho. De Bruyne shot! De Bruyne scores! Manchester City are through to the semi-finals of the Champions League.
In 2017, PSG pulled off one of the most shocking transfers the world has ever seen.
Football club has given one of its star players, Neymar, permission to discuss a world record transfer deal with Paris Saint-Germain.
They signed Neymar for just a small fee of 222 million euros, making him the most expensive player of all time. And, by the way, he still is, 8 years later. Barcelona fans were obviously furious. And it was at this point that the rest of the world turned its head and realized we could have a serious threat on our hands. And PSG? We're not done yet.
Apparently agreed a deal to sign the biggest teenage talent in world football, Kylian Mbappe, from their French rivals, Monaco.
We all knew Mbappe was the next global superstar, young, French, and insanely talented. So now PSG had the two most valuable players in world football.
383 million. Well, 2 plus.
PSG is doing what Barcelona did to Liverpool, what Liverpool does to Southampton, and they're all bitching about it.
The ultimate super team was starting to form, but there was still one piece missing. After Barcelona's financial crash, PSG signed Messi for free. But, as we know now, even with this insane super team, they still fell short, no matter how hard they tried. They could not reach that one goal of getting the Champions League. When we look at the construction of teams that have been at the forefront of European football in the last 10 years, they all have one thing in common. Players with workhorse mentalities. Players who aren't reluctant to contribute defensively and are willing to run themselves into the ground every single game. PSG looked nothing like this. They had a FIFA team, big numbers on FIFA players, so they must be good. Well, that's just not how football works. You can afford to have one star, but when you have a collection of them, all you have is a broken system and a dressing room full of egos, and we've seen it spill over onto the pitch. Many times, as Mbappe went from a youngster to a global icon, fans started to see him as the true leader of that PSG attack, a shift that Neymar did not take lightly. It was more than clear that there was bad blood between them. We saw them argue constantly over stupid things like penalties and misplaced passes. And when it comes to Messi, it just seems like he never really connected with the club. He seemed unbothered at times and probably more focused on his national team at Argentina. But maybe you can't really blame him. One of the biggest red flags at PSG was an absolute lack of tactical stability. Similar to Manchester United, managers were coming and going every season since the actual Qatari takeover. We've seen 7 different managers. Ancelotti laid the foundations but left for Madrid. Laurent Blanc dominated France but lacked that tactical flexibility in Europe. Unai Emery, a tactical mess, responsible for the 6-1 Barcelona collapse. Thomas Tuchel took PSG to their first Champions League final but was sacked months later. Portino struggled to handle superstar egos. Geisha was just never fully in control. And, last of all, Luis Enrique, who's yet to prove himself in Europe. Every manager, of course, has their own philosophy in signings. So this just meant that the team was constantly being reshaped. If you look at teams like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City, they have a clear tactical identity. PSG, on the other hand, felt like a team built on pure vibes rather than strategy. Egos and no tactical identity aren't great, but my main problem with PSG is just their awful mentality over the years. It seems like anytime they've had to face a real challenge, they just collapse. Let me show you. Before PSG had completely broken the bank for Neymar and Messi, they faced Barcelona in the Champions League, and they absolutely demolished them in the first leg, winning 4-0. The tie was surely over. No team in history has ever blown a 4-0 lead in the Champions League. In the second leg, Suarez scored early on, and shortly after, an own goal put Barcelona on the board. All of a sudden, it was 2-0 at halftime, still 4-2 up on aggregate. This shouldn't have been a problem. Barcelona scored a penalty, and it became 3-0. But thankfully, PSG finally reacted, and Cavani got one back, making it 3-1. The game surely hinged on that crucial away goal by Barcelona. Now, they needed 3 goals in 30 minutes to get through. Surely impossible. 7 minutes later, PSG were panicking. Another penalty went Barcelona's way, and Neymar converted it again. Somehow, Barcelona now only needed 1 goal. PSG were shitting themselves. And, of course, in the 95th
30 seconds remaining. Neymar. Chips in. Oh, and it's a Has done it! Can you believe this? Oh, my goodness me! This is fantasy stuff. Pinch yourself. It really happened.
The biggest collapse of all time occurred. Fast forward to 2019, and PSG had just beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford in the first leg of the round of 16. United had 10 first-team players out injured, so the second leg should have been a formality. Then, just 2 minutes after kickoff, there was some serious early panic.
Real chance, round the goalkeeper, can he score? Yes!
But they managed to stabilize and get a goal of their own.
Mbappe, far post, equaliser.
As the game went on, PSG missed chance after chance, and suddenly, another mistake at the back saw PSG, up 3-2 on aggregate, managed to get all the way to the 91st minute, and then
Incredible! Told you, he's given the penalty. 4th minute of stoppage time. Rashford against Buffon. It's Rashford! And Manchester United have produced the impossible. Rashford, nerves of steel.
Finally, the latest collapse was in 2022. They beat Madrid 1-0 in the first leg. Madrid had 0 shots on target, and PSG were in complete control. Then, back at home, it looked like a similar story of complete domination, and it seemed like this time, things were finally going to be different. Mbappe scored to make it 2-0 up. Now, on aggregate, things were surely over, but then came the famous 17-minute breakdown.
Benzema caused it, here's Vinicius, it's Karim Benzema, and they're back in it! Luka Modric once more. Good ball into Karim Benzema, he's in! He off the ball defending to he's done it! Karim Benzema again!
These 3 absolute disasters exposed PSG's biggest flaws. They couldn't handle pressure in the big moments. They had no true leaders to guide them through any adversity. And finally, they had no defensive stability. When things go wrong, they go wrong. This is why all these PSG super teams have failed. Money can buy you superstars, but it can't buy you a good mentality. After this embarrassing defeat, it looked as if Mbappe would leave for Madrid. But in absolute desperation, PSG offered him the most insane contract
So it's a
we've ever
3-year
seen.
deal. It's £1 million a week in wages. It's £100 million in a signing on fee. And there are all sorts of bonuses for goals, for Champions League performances, for Ballon d'Ors. And he has control over certain of his image rights.
So it's a 3-year deal. Effectively, Mbappe was now the most powerful player in the world. Of course, egos were hurt in this decision. Neymar felt like he was the top dog, and reports started to surface that Mbappe wanted him gone. It was a World Cup final where cracks started to show: Argentina versus France, Mbappe versus Messi. Mbappe scored 3, but Messi went home with the trophy. Either way, a game of importance can't be forgotten. Messi now had that edge over Mbappe, and things were always going to be a little bit strange. From the start of the season, there was a really weird relationship dynamic between all three of them, and it began to show in their performances. Another round of 16 Champions League exit, and fans had had enough.
One of the greatest ever players is coming to America.
That's right. Argentina's Lionel Messi has announced his next move after deciding to leave French giants PSG.
Breaking news, significant breaking news. It's to do with the Saudi Pro League. Al Hilal have just announced the signing of Neymar from PSG.
The superstar project had crumbled, and all that was left was Mbappe and a broken team. PSG tried their best to reset this time by signing young, hard-working players like Dembélé, Mane, and Ramos. The goal was clear: build a team around Mbappe with just one superstar this time. But things went immediately wrong.
The most drawn-out transfer saga of all time, I think, is nearly at an end because we can say that Real Madrid are expected to announce and confirm the signing of Kylian Mbappe.
Everything PSG had done for Mbappe, and now he was leaving for free in their eyes, was the ultimate betrayal. And just like that, all three superstars were gone. From 2017 to 2023, PSG tried to build a Galactica-style squad, spending over £1.4 billion on transfers. But what did they actually achieve? Countless French titles, but 0 Champions League trophies. PSG will never ever have a team that expensive and that star-studded again. The super team experiment is over, and it will be remembered as one of football's biggest failures. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, so it would really mean the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.